Hi guys, welcome back. It's Mrs. Peterson, that lady who teaches art, and today we're going to talk about watercolor painting for first grade. So the first thing you're going to get is your piece of paper, and you're going to look on both sides to see if there's kind of a spot here on the back of this one. So I'm going to use that as my back. I'm going to write my first name, last initial, and my grade and class. So S1 for Miss Sefchuk's class. And then I'm going to turn it to the other side because this is going to be my front now. The spot, oh, I just got paint on. Hopefully that'll go right into my painting. And then we are going to look at our watercolor rules. The first one is sketch with a pencil. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to sketch out the design that I pick out of my sunset. I see that there's a line that kind of comes like that for the sky. I've got this one mountain line, kind of comes, it's got some more details over here, and it's got that sun right there that I definitely want to make sure I capture. Ooh, didn't get very round. There we go. And then I've got some other hills that come down here. This one kind of comes down drastically. And then I've got my black that's going to come up right in there. And once I have my sketch it's kind of hard to see on there, sketched out, then I am ready to look at the rest of my rules. So number 2 says leave white. I don't have white watercolor paint. So if there's anything on your final piece that you want white, like I want my sun to stay white, then I am going to leave that white. For my supplies today, I'm going to have 2 brushes, a thin and a thick. I'm going to have a cup with clean water. See how cup starts with clean, the same sound. And then my dish is where my dirty water is going to go. I'm going to put just a couple drops in there. I don't need very much in there. It doesn't even have to cover the whole bottom of the dish. I need my paint tray, and I always put these in rainbow order. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. And then I have brown and black. And even if there's not very much, that's okay. It doesn't take very much. And then I'm going to use my wipe. My wipe is almost like my eraser. So I want to definitely have my wipe as I am working today. And then we don't want our paper to get too wet because the big kids call it gets fuzzy. There's little pieces of the paper that will shred off. I'm going to clean my brush and my water in between colors, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then I'm going to paint the background first, starting at the top of my paper. Try to leave a little bit of white space in between things. Okay, so we're going to get started. I think I'm going to start with my, whoa, my brush didn't get clean from the last person. If that happens to you, go ahead and scrub that brush out. Dump that dirty water in your garbage can for water that will be at your table, and then you can get some new clean water. And I'm going to start with my little brush, and I have kind of an orange that blends into a purple up here. So I'm going to start there with that orange. A little more water to spread that out. And while it's wet, I can just add some of that purple right to it. It's really dark up here, so I'm going to start with that dark purple up there. It kind of blends down, blends across. A little bit down here, it's got some of that darker purple shades. I'm spending a lot of time looking back and forth between what I'm trying to paint and what I'm painting. Then I'm going to clean my brush because next I need just orange and maybe some yellow. My brush has purple, so I don't want that. Clean that out by scrubbing it on the bottom of my dish. Dump that water in the trash can and get a little bit of fresh. I think this time I'm going to start with my yellow. If I start with my lighter color, then it is easier because if I go too dark, it's hard to come back from it. But if it's too light, that's okay. I can just add more. I'm going to start with my yellow. I know I need a lot more orange here, but that's okay. I'm going to start with the yellow, and then I'll add the orange over top of it. I'm going to be very careful to stay outside of my sunshine because that is where I want to stay white. Okay. And then I'm going to add orange right over the top. And I got a little too dark right there up in the corner. So that's okay. I'm going to take my wipe and just kind of use it as an eraser. Get that back a little bit. There we go. That's much better. Kind of like clouds that just look like straight across lines. Over here I have some really dark, fine details. So I'm going to just add those really quick with my brush. Some of them come right onto the sun. And come up here in the sky. Okay. When that's done, I'm ready to start on those mountains, and they're kind of lighter blue at the top. I'm going to give myself just a little bit of white in between my colors. Remember, otherwise, if my colors hit each other, then it's going to blend strangely. Just going to use not so much blue, more water to keep it light. The water will mix with the color. Okay, my next layer is going to be a little darker, so I'm going to use the same blue, but I'm going to use more paint this time to make it a darker shade. I'm going to leave just a little bit of white space between those two colors. I'm using a lot of my skinny brush today. If you want to switch back and forth, you are welcome to. I have lots of little tiny areas. I want to make sure that this one definitely looks darker than the layer above it, which I think it does. I think this is a little dark up here, so I'm going to take my wipe as an eraser and just kind of get some of that back. All right, then my next layer is kind of a blue purple. So I'm going to start with my dirty water is fine because I'm going to use it for blue and purple. I'm going to get it wet, and then I'm going to come back with my paint and paint. Whoa, that got really dark. I don't know if we want it that dark. If you get it too dark like I did, no worries. Just kind of dot, dot, dot with your wipe. Bring it back. I want to mix a little blue into that because it's looking really purple. I want to make it look like it's gradually going down these mountains. Not that it was so drastic. And I think I might want to bring a little bit of that purple up into this one, just so it looks a little darker while that's fresh on my brush. All right, then my last step is black. Now, my water's really dirty, and for black, I could probably use it, but I'm going to clean it. Remember, I'm going to put a little bit of water in my cup. I'm going to scrub my brush out, dump that, get a little extra. And then for my black, down here, it's looking really gray, right? Oh, and I kind of touched it right there. So I want to be careful to leave a little bit of white space between here while it's wet. Bring my black up. A little more paint. And then mine, you guys, has these really cool details of little trees. So I'm going to just go and draw those on. Just kind of like little, some stick up higher. And then you would just keep drawing those all the way across for your trees and your piece. When it is done, you're going to clean your brush. You would keep going. You're going to clean your brush by going like this, dumping that dirty water, getting some clean water. I bet my brush isn't clean yet, so I'm going to keep going. Get that pretty clean. Dump that water. I can rinse my dish. And then at the end of class, you guys, all of the water is going to go into the bucket. Clean and dirty, doesn't matter. The supplies, the cups, dishes, and paint are going to go back on my pickup table. The reference photos are going to go there too. The weird thing, you guys, is the brushes are going to go in my sink, bristles down, and then I will come and pick up your paintings. All right, you guys, I can't wait to see what you create.